Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Peter 5'8", and I have many, many questions, most of which involve why is Kevin Spacey getting another film? Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 8. I also have other things to report. Here's Kevin Spacey. He's in this movie. He's kind of the bad guy. It's a bizarre movie. But first, I have to address the elephant in the room, or rather the stink in the room. Poor Little Joan had a problem on the walk. Yeah, didn't you, Little Joan? And I got to clean her up. And she's not being very cooperative, so I thought I'd let her rest. And she's stinking up the place, right, Stinky? Ugh, what a disastrous walk. Anyhow. All right, I'll put you on my lap, but you just gotta be cool, Joan. You can't get up for reasons that I just kind of described to the audience. Anyhow, so Kevin, how did he get a movie? I guess this is it. I mean, it just doesn't matter. I guess in Hollywood, if you're connected to the right people, you get back in, right? Now, granted, this isn't a big Hollywood production, but I wouldn't expect it to be. I would expect it like this would be like a stepping stone for Kevin Spacey to get kind of back in the business. And look, he was getting older, and when you get older in Hollywood, even the men who have more gravitas when they get older are going to work less, eventually. Even Bruce Willis, right? I mean, setting aside his medical problems, I mean, he was getting up there. He was in B movies. He was the biggest star in Hollywood, and then he was down to, being in Deadlocked and, movies like that, which weren't necessarily bad, but they're lower budget. This is a lower budget movie. And Hollywood itself is just changing, but it's weird to see Kevin Spacey. And even weirder is the movie. So the premise of the movie is this girl on the left, and this is Rebecca De Mornay, by the way. Do you remember the hand who rocks the cradle? Yeah, that's the hand who rocked the cradle. Anyhow, the lead girl, whose name I don't recognize, is running away from her past, right? And Rebecca is her friend. So Kevin finds that out. He's stalking the other girl, but he finds out she's the friend. So he seduces her, becomes her boyfriend basically, so he could be around. And then he starts stalking her because she used to be, I don't know, a cabaret singer, at first I thought she was a stripper. She was some kind of, I don't know, in organized crime, as much as women are in organized crime. And apparently she was terrible and did terrible things during that time. I think she ran over a person. I think they dumped a body somewhere. So the guy out to get her wants Kevin Spacey to not only ruin her life, but just make her suffer by destroying everything around her. So she lives in this nice little town, and he just goes berserk, man. Kevin Spacey does. He just starts killing people. I guess he's kind of in love with Rebecca, so he doesn't want to kill her, but he starts killing other people and assaulting them. He just goes on a gun rampage in the middle of the town, starts shooting people, things start blowing up. What the hell is this movie? I don't see how that's revenge. Director Michael Zako Hall. Do we have a screenplay here? Written by Michael Zako Hall. Also produced by Michael Zako Hall. A Michael Zako Hall film. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. Kevin Spacey is the top bill. Jet Jandrew is the main woman, with Rebecca De Mornay and Jake Weber. That name sounds familiar. Peter 5'8". So he is sent to just randomly kill people and just destroy things? First off, this doesn't seem like the kind of role Kevin Spacey would have accepted had his career not been, let's just say, derailed by certain events. So there's that. It seems like the sort of role John Malkovich is taking now. It's bizarre, right? He's just a sinister guy who shows up, starts stalking this woman, and then starts randomly shooting people, killing people, blowing things up in this town around her to make her suffer somehow. And then there's a guy giving him instructions the whole time. Yeah, make her suffer, make it sloppy, make it bad. So, Act 1, this woman has a nice life in this tiny town somewhere. Kevin Spacey is stalking her. We don't know why at first. He reports back to his little guy. Keeps using phones, burner phones. Keeps taking pictures. I don't know why these guys. Why are you going to use an obvious camera like that in this day and age? But okay. Finds out Rebecca De Mornay is her friend, seduces her, has sex with her, I assume, and uses it as an excuse to be around her and continue to stalk her and destroy her life. And we flash back to the horrible things she did back in the day, and then we realize she's not that nice of a person, but maybe she doesn't deserve this. She got out of her life, but the guy who wants revenge just keeps that's the revenge guy, just keeps telling Kevin Spacey to do more and more horrible things. I assume he's paying him, and he keeps doing it until she kills him. I assume she turns around and kills him, saving Rebecca De Mornay, perhaps. I don't know. It's kind of an odd movie, and Kevin Spacey's in it again. Kevin Spacey. Do I think Kevin Spacey should starve? No, but seems odd that he's in anything anymore. Maybe he should just retire, but I can understand why he wouldn't want to retire. I don't quite understand why people would be in movies with him. But, why does he get a pass? And, guys who haven't even been convicted. Now, he hasn't been convicted of anything, I don't think. He was taken to court a bunch of times. He has been convicted of nothing. Is my understanding, right? Nothing. So, okay. If that's the rule, you're not convicted of anything, you work. Why are there so many guys out of work? Why does he get to come back, but not Christopher Noth or Johnny Depp or anybody else who's been accused and not convicted of anything? Is that the metric? If that's not the metric, then what is the metric? It seems like an unfair application that he's back already, or that he's back at all. Now, if the application is, well, he hasn't been convicted, therefore he works, and that's evenly across the business, maybe I don't have to like it, maybe I don't even have to see the movie if I think he's guilty, but I would accept that, because that seems fair. It's not necessarily the best situation for certain people, but I could understand that. Well, he hasn't been convicted of anything. Okay, fine. But that he gets to be in stuff and other people who have been accused don't? Seems wrong. Where's James Franco? Where's Aziz Ansari? Where are all these guys who were accused? I mean, Aziz Ansari especially. I think he should be in tons. I mean, he kind of still is. But to me, his career was hurt by the press he got. I think he was kind of pushed out of his own show, wasn't he? Master of None? Kind of just faded from that show? Seems wrong. So if that's the case, if you're not going to go after somebody who's been accused until they've been convicted, then why not continue the show Kevin Spacey was on? Why not put it on hold until the trial's over or whatever, and then put it out? Because at this point, it's like, okay, you let him back in the show business, then why did you ruin that show? That was the big show for him. Anyhow, this uneven application is worrisome. And then I got to look at Rebecca De Mornay and say, what are you doing? You're in this movie with him. Is that a wise move? Maybe they're friends. You know, maybe she's just like, well, I haven't been in a movie in a while. I really need this. Yeah, and then the movie itself, Peter 5'8". I don't know what that means. Peter 5'8". What is that? What kind of movie? It says it's a thriller movie, so he's Mr. Revenge guy, but obviously he must get killed in the end, I guess, but it doesn't seem like he does. Right? It doesn't seem like... I don't know. It seems like he's miscast in this role on top of that. Like, this doesn't seem like a good role for Kevin Spacey. And he's almost playing it too smart. Right? Because a guy like this, I mean, usually it's like, you know, they establish he's a sicko. Right? He revels in this. So are you going to tell me he's one of these guys who works for the mafia and is torn about his loyalties because of Rebecca De Mornay, but is casual about, well, if I wasn't in love with you, your best friend, I'd have no problem harassing this girl and destroying her life and eventually killing her. Yeah, I don't see how a human being makes that decision. You know, that compartmentalization. So, I don't know. It's a lot weird with this movie. Would I go see it? Probably not. Now, if Kevin Spacey wasn't in it, I don't think I'd see the movie anyway. It doesn't look like a good idea. And it's not clear what the woman did to deserve this level of harassment. Like, what could she have done that was that terrible? Other than murder somebody. And they're not showing her murdering. I think maybe she ran over somebody. So maybe that's it. Maybe she ran over someone important, and then ran away, and that's why, and she wasn't convicted, and they can't get her. Okay. But that, to me, is a key component of this plot, and should be prominent in the trailer. Like, the bad guy should be saying something like, she took away everything from me, you know, and then, like, with a shot of the woman, you know, being hit by the car or whatever, and then, you know, the voiceover being, I want you to take everything away from her. That would make it clearer. Here it's a little vague. I think that's what it is. Maybe? But it's unclear. And, like, again, like, it's Hollywood's version of what organized crime is. You know, organized crime, is there drama in it? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But it's mostly about crime. So, you know, when these guys go off the rails to get revenge, you know, the guys in organized crime, they're pretty obsessed with money. Pretty obsessed. Like, that's because they have to be. You have to be a voracious earner to be in organized crime, especially these days. Voracious about money. More so than anything else in your life. And that, to some extent, either they're warped to begin with, or they get warped by being in that lifestyle for so long. Because they know they could lose money, prestige, or their lives if they don't continue to earn. So that's always top of the list. So a petty thing like this that's going to distract them from their earnings, it's a big undertaking for them to do. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to risk your life to do something like this, orchestrate this, bring down heat on you? She's kind of cute, though. She's kind of cute, the lead. Yeah, and the whole movie feels second or third tier, because I don't know any of the other actors. The sets are kind of dull. I mean, it looks well directed enough, but it just feels kind of cheap. Although this scene, he shoots at somebody and hits a guy in the neck, which was pretty badass. So it's not. I'm not trying to say it looks like a Hallmark movie, but some of the stuff looks a little Hallmarky. Like, this is a weird scene. This is like her running up these steps. Just kind of a bad shot. It makes her look dumpy and heavy. You know, it's not exciting. This should. I mean, I get maybe it's low budget and they didn't have the money to like do a tracking shot up the steps or whatever, but it feels like it's a little too far away and a little disconnected from whatever the hell would be going on. And here she is, I don't know, helping dispose of a body? Jet Landry. Don't know her. The whole movie's just a little off for some reason, so I'm not sure. Peter 5'8" is the name of the movie. It's a thriller movie starring Kevin Spacey. I'm going to skip it. If I watch it, it'll only be because I could see it for free. Oh, it was also produced by Jet Landry. Jandrew. And, so she's the star and one of the producers. Interesting. There's a lot going on here. What can I say? And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. I got to clean up, Joan, and we'll see you in the next one.